G'day, I'm Andrew Williams. I'm the new voice on the Squiz Today podcast. We're like Squiz Kids, but for grown-ups. We get you up to speed on the big stories of the day every weekday morning in just 10 minutes, helping you stay informed in an easy, bite-sized fashion. Just search Squiz Today wherever you get your podcasts.
Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Kombumerri people.
Squiz Kids! It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello, fabulous Squiz Kids listeners, and welcome to the Kids vs. Adults Weekly News Quiz. Your chance to see who's had their listening ears on and been paying the most attention to the week that just was. I'm Bryce Corbett. All week in the Squiz Kids Today podcast, we've been bringing you the big news stories of the day, run through our kid-friendly filter to make sure you know all you need to know about the world around you. Now, it's time to test how much of the week's news you've retained, and in the process, see who's smarter, kids or adults. Plus, of course, because it's a Friday, we've got all today's birthday shout-outs and all the shout-outs for the weekend ahead, including, of course, the birthday reggae tune, because it wouldn't be a Friday without it. So, here's how the quiz works. 5 questions for the kids about the week in news, then 5 questions for adults. Whoever answers the most correct questions wins. Easy. You ready? Let's do this. All right, kids, here are your 5 questions. Question number 1. We heard in the podcast this week how which mythical monster that legend says hides underwater in a lake or loch in Scotland was actually just an optical illusion created by waves on the loch. Yes, of course. What other monster but the Loch Ness Monster could it possibly be? Question number 2. We also heard in the podcast this week how a woman in Melbourne had to pull over on the freeway when what sort of animal started slithering up her leg? That's right, it was a snake. Actually, it was a tiger snake, which is very poisonous. How terrifying. Question number 3. The World Championships of which sport are taking place in Singapore this week? And I'll give you a hint. It's a sport that involves a couple of kings, a pair of rooks, and a whole lot of pawns. Did you say chess? You would be correct. Question number 4. Speaking of sport, which team won the AFLW Grand Final last weekend? Was it the North Melbourne Kangaroos or the Brisbane Lions? That's right, it was the Kangaroos. They bounded away with their first premiership trophy, and they were very excited too. Question number 5. Moana 2 burst into cinemas last weekend, setting a record for ticket sales for an animated film. Name the former professional wrestler turned Hollywood star who provides the voice for the shape-shifting demigod Maui in the film Moana 2. Yeah, of course, it's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. How did you go, kids? How many did you get right out of 5? And do you think that's going to be enough to beat the adults? I'm hoping so. All right, adults, now it's your turn. Let's fire up the old grey matter. Here we go. Question number 1. Martial law was declared, albeit very briefly, in which Asian country this week? Yes, that's right, it was South Korea. Question number 2. The baggy green hat of which legendary Aussie cricketer sold at auction this week for almost $500,000? Yep, it was the baggy green that once belonged to Don Bradman. Question number 3. Which bank had to walk back on its attempt to gouge customers $3 a pop each time they withdrew their money from a teller? Yep, that's right, it was the Commonwealth Bank. Question number 4. Which retailer was this week named the most trusted brand in Australia by Roy Morgan Research? Yes, well done if you said Bunnings. Question number 5. Billboard magazine crowned which US singer-songwriter as the biggest pop star of the 21st century this week? Yes, that's right. It was none other than Queen Bey herself, Beyoncé. How did you go, adults? How many did you get right? Did you beat the kids? Who has won bragging rights this week? Now, if you've missed any of these cool news stories throughout the week and you want to refresh your memory, all of this week's Squiz Kids episodes are available for a re-listen wherever you get your podcasts. That's the end of the quiz, which means it's now time for...
Shout-outs.
It's Friday, December 6th. Today is St. Nicholas Day, where, in many countries, kids leave shoes out for jolly Saint Nick, who's related to Santa, to leave little gifts. And keep an ear out during the upcoming school holidays for an excellent Squiz Kids shortcut on Christmas traditions around the world. Today is also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today and over the coming weekend. And because it's a Friday, it's tradition to crack out the old birthday reggae tune. Hit it. And it's a happy birthday to Rosie and Billy from Yass, Celine from South Brisbane, Ariana from Bundaberg, Elka from Guyra, Zoe and Ryan from Glen Waverley, Samantha from West Beach, Teddy from Langwarren, Eloise from Geelong, Jordan from Old Bar, and Sahib from Tarnit. Well, that's all we have time for. I hope you're enjoying these quizzes. Don't forget there'll be a new one dropping first thing every Friday morning. And the best bit, they're absolutely free. Just as our other excellent content is free too. We're talking a Squiz Kids Today news podcast on Mondays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, a Squiz Kids shortcut or a Squiz the World every Tuesday, and for all the teachers out there, there's the Classroom Companion, our teacher-produced classroom activity sheets, curriculum aligned and tied to the Daily Pod on Mondays, and whose entire back catalogue is now searchable via our website. Genius. Check it all out at squizkids.com.au or simply subscribe to Squiz Kids in your favourite podcasting app and all this audio content will magically appear. For now, this is Bryce Corbett signing off and reminding you all to get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.